Well, hello there. I'm Yolanda and thank you for tuning in to this channel. We have a nice tutorial today. We are going to learn how we can texture fondant and use it for our decorations. Very simple, very quick, and very easy. All you need is a piece of fondant and a texturizer. So let's get started. So what I have here is a pattern embosser set of 3 rollers. This works great for texturing fondant. But if you don't have this, don't worry about it. You can use other things to texture fondant. And I will show you in this video how to. Let's continue. I will use one of the rollers from the Wilton set just to show you how to texture the fondant. We are going to texture a baby shirt. Remember that you can use the same cookie cutter for your cookies as well as to cut the fondant when covering the cookie with fondant. Roll out your fondant not too thin or not too thick and press down hard with the roller so that the pattern can be marked on the fondant. Now I'm going to place my cutter diagonally on the fondant and just press down and lift the excess, and look, nice shirt. Remove all the powder with a soft brush off of the fondant. And now you can add any decorations that you like. I'm going to add some tiny flowers that I had made prior using fondant. You can use any decorations that you like. And that's it. Look how fast and easy. And remember, you are going to be cutting your cookie the same shape that you just cut your fondant with the same cookie cutter. And remember to glue the fondant to your cookie. Use a couple of drops of corn syrup. And that's it. You just made a beautiful design for your cookie. For this cupcake, I'm going to use a small embosser. I found this one online a while ago. I put the link in the information section of this video. You will do the same thing you did before. Roll out your fondant, not too thin, not too thick. Take the embosser and press down hard. Cut the desired shape and place on cookie or on cupcake. To place on your cupcake, use a small amount of buttercream as a medium. And to place it on your cookies, use corn syrup. Since this pattern has a quilting look, I like to place a pearl at each corner. If you don't have pearls, make tiny balls out of fondant. Since this is a demo video, I'm not going to use any buttercream for the base on my cupcake, but you should use a base of buttercream, at least a tiny thin base of buttercream to glue the fondant to your cupcake. I'm using edible glue to glue the pearls on the fondant. You can see the recipe in this channel, or you can simply use clear water. Next, I'm cutting a motif for the size of a cake. I'm using this sugar veil mat, which is used to make sugar lace, but it also works for this purpose. First, roll out the fondant. Then, place the fondant on the mat. Roll out the fondant on the mat again. Then, flip the fondant to face the surface and lift the mat off of the fondant. You can cut around the motif or you can use a cookie cutter. For the sake of time, I'm using a cookie cutter. This will serve as a motif for around a cake or a cover for a cookie or a cupcake. So I saw this plastic placemat at Michael's and I had to have it because of the pretty designs. I could not resist to use it as a texturizer for a project, remembering that it needs to be well washed and clean. I'm going to use a wedding dress cookie cutter. The cutter is from the Ann Clark Company. I put a link to their store. I am also going to make a heart, as these two can be used to decorate cookies for a wedding or a bridal shower. For the dress, I'm cutting the skirt first, and then I'm going to cut the top and glue them together with edible glue. Let's watch. At this point, if you like the pattern that you cut for the top and for the skirt, you can leave it like that. But I'm going to replace that top with another design. You don't have to, but I like to. And so it is up to you. After all, it is your design. It is your cookie. It is your decoration. So be creative and always try to do something different with your creations. Now that I found the piece that I want for the top, I'm going to mark the piece of fondant with the cutter, and then I'm going to cut off the top and then replace it. The top now will look differently because you see how it has pointing down. The top goes all the way down like in an arrow. So that's the way I wanted the top to look, instead of just being a straight top around the waist. So using an edible glue again, just glue it. And remember, you are going to assemble this on top of your cookie. I'm doing it on this mat because I don't have a cookie, but if you're going to cover your cookie, then you do this on top of your cookie. And that's it. Look how beautiful. Once the dress is placed on the cookie, you can continue to decorate it. You can add pearls around the shape. Also, you can get a tiny piece of ribbon and make a bow and put it in the middle of the waist. You can do anything. It's up to you. So now we are getting ready to make the heart to go with the dress. We are going to make the heart the same way as we made the dress, rolling out the fondant on your work surface first. Then you roll it on the spot that you want it to emboss. You roll it over and then you flip over the mat. Remove the mat off of the fondant and take your cutter. Make sure it's placed right in the center of the design that you like, so both sides will have the same design. So here is the project that I made using the placemat that I purchased from Michaels. I embossed the center of the mat with fondant 3 times. Then with a sharp cutter I cut the design all around. Then I glued the motifs on my fondant covered cake. I then took some pearls and placed them in a small bowl and poured a small amount of vodka. The vodka will release the color from the sugar pearls. That's what I used to color the motifs. That's why they have that golden color. Using a soft brush and being careful not to paint the cake, I painted the motifs. You can paint the motifs first and then glue them on the cake. I think that would be easier, as I had to struggle not to touch the fondant on the cake. Then I placed gold pearls all around the motifs, as you can see. For the border, I used a pearl mold and I made strings of fondant pearls and glued them to the border of the cake. And then I placed gold pearls in between the fondant pearls. And as you can see, there is a rose on top of the cake. I made that rose using 50% fondant and 50% gum paste. And then I also added some leaves, which I made with fondant. And I also, you can see on the other side of the cake that there are a couple of cupcakes. You can do this to complement your cake, to make your table beautiful, or you can just have the cake alone without any cupcakes. Well, cake technicians, this has been all for today. I hope that you had a lot of fun just like I did during this tutorial. I like to encourage you to use some of these techniques to cover your cakes, to make motifs, to emboss, fondant, to place on your cookies and on your cupcakes. That will save you a lot of time. Also, I like to encourage you to continue practicing. Do not give up. If something does not come out right the way it is supposed to, don't worry about it. No one will know unless you tell. So try again. Also, please share this video, subscribe and like, and place your comments in the comment section of this video. I will try to answer all of your questions as soon as possible. I always do. I like to invite you back again when I bring another tutorial similar to this one. Until then, God bless you.